Okay, so you've got all of the pieces that you need. Now we just need to draw. Okay, so yes, you are gonna have an answer book when you do this in your exam. I don't have one here right now, so I'm just gonna draw my own Cartesian plane. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna start. My y-intercept is -12, so I need to go like maybe let's count like -5, -10, -15 would be next. All right, so -12 is going to be somewhere over there. Okay, all right. Um, -12, that is my -12. Let's get that back, right? So I plotted my y value, so my y-intercept rather. I need to plot my x-intercepts. So I'm going to have, let's count in ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, -1, -2. Yeah, I think that is sufficient. Okay, let's see the values. -2 is a value, so I'm going to make a dot on -2. What's the next one? Is that that's +1? +1 is a value, and this +6 is the other value. Okay, so those are my x-intercepts. Okay, so I've thrown my x-intercepts in. Now let's draw our turning point, right? So 2 over here is 2 and 16. So let's just put some values here. This is going to be 5, 10, 15. So 16 is slightly higher than that. 2 and 16 would be somewhere over there. Somewhere over there. Okay. And then the other one was -4/3. So that's going to be 1,333, right? So -1,333 and -29. So that's going to be, I'm not going to plot it perfectly, but it's going to be somewhere there. Okay, so we'll just say that it is somewhere there at the bottom. Okay, so that's what your graph is going to look like. Hopefully, once you have those points, you can see. So I'm just going to connect my dots. It turns over here, that's a turning point, and it turns over there. It goes through there, it goes through there, it goes through there, as well as through there. Okay, so considering where it's going to go through, considering where it's going to turn, I can figure out. Okay, let's just try that again. Let's try go through. I can figure out that it's gonna look something like this. Okay, not perfect. Okay, through this freehand, but this is what it looks like. This is y, this is x. um, that's your cubic function. When you draw this, you're gonna draw it much nicer than I have, and then you also need to just write down these coordinates for us. So all of these important coordinates that we've shown, which we have calculated above, just show me on the graph as well. Okay, so write down those coordinates just so that the person looking at this, the person marking this, they're not unsure about where that coordinate is. Okay, so even though your calculations are above, show where those coordinates are. Okay, great. There we've drawn our function. Now let's answer the final question. Use the graph to write down the values of x for which g of x is greater than 0. So now we need to understand this question. And this is a super easy question. Don't just ignore this question. Learners tend to ignore this question because it requires no mathematical work, just for you to look at the picture and think, decipher, learn something, right? So let's think about this. That is y, right? G of x, we think of that as y. So what you're saying is, where's y? Well, the symbol is smaller than. Where's y? Smaller than 0. So look at y values, right? Y values are below the x-axis. Y value smaller than 0 at least. So let's go look at the graph. Where is your graph below the x-axis? So I'm going to use my green and I'm going to just draw over this line over here wherever it is below x-axis rather. Okay, so the green tells me where g of x, which is this function, is smaller than 0. But what do they want to know? They want to know the x values which produces this function lower than 0. So it starts at this x value, goes up to this x value, and then it goes again from that x value onward until infinity. So that's going to be my solution, right? So my solution is going to be x, that's an element, right, from -2 up until 1. But now the inequality says that it is strictly smaller than 0, so it can't be 0. So I'm going to use round brackets there to exclude those actual numbers. Then I need to say, and it is also from positive 6 up until infinity. Infinity is never included, and positive 6 is excluded because that is actually 0. And because it is this one as well as this one, I need to put a u there. The u refers to the union. We should know that from our probability. So that is our final question. Okay, great. Good luck.